Hello and welcome to the Three Brothers Grimm. I'm Tim Grimm, and I'm here with my beloved fiance Teresa.
Yeah, soon to be Mrs. Grimm, apparently.
Well, and she has decided to show me a couple of videos. I have never seen these before, so apparently they are supposed to scar and horrify me.
Well, what I thought what we should do is we're gonna do 2 videos per thing, and one's gonna be like mentally scarred, and the other one is going to be, something to recover from it.
Okay.
So I thought it would be nice to do something like that.
Okay.
Some of these videos I haven't watched either. There's been a couple that I have.
Okay.
So some of them, I'll be reacting to them too.
Okay, excellent.
And some of them I'll just be watching you. It'd be funny.
Okay, I can't wait. Let's get this started then.
Archaeology often involves endless hours of work, resulting in nothing more than the discovery of a few shards of old pottery, if anything at all. However, every now and then, archaeologists dig up something unexpected, which uncomfortably displays the darker side of human nature. Here are my choices for 5 of the most disturbing archaeological discoveries, which you may wish had remained buried deep in the ground and out of sight. Number 5. The Vampire of Venice. While excavating a mass grave on an island in Venice, archaeologists unearthed more than they were expecting. The skeleton of a long-dead woman was discovered with what appeared to be a large brick forced into her mouth. This led to speculation that whoever buried the woman may have believed that she was a vampire, and placed the brick there to prevent her from feeding on the living. This disturbing discovery is believed to be the first time that the remains of an alleged vampire have been unearthed. While this may seem bizarre to the modern mind, belief in vampires was extremely common in the Middle Ages, and for good reason. The stages of decomposition that dead bodies go through was poorly understood and often misinterpreted as being unnatural. Tombs and burial sites would often be reopened during times of disease such as the plague, when countless new corpses needed to be buried. Those doing the burying would often find signs of decomposition on the dead, such as bodies bloated by gas, hair and nails appearing to still be growing as the skin shrinks and is pulled back, as well as blood leaking from the corpse's mouth. Burial shrouds would often sag into the corpse's mouth, where bacteria would eat holes into the shroud, creating the appearance that the dead person was chewing on their shroud, earning them the nickname of shroud eaters. People believed that these vampires were the cause of the plagues which were spreading through their towns, and that the only way to stop the dead from rising was to remove the burial shroud and place something into the vampire's mouth. However, this was not the last time that the remains of an alleged vampire have been found. A medieval skeleton was recently unearthed in Bulgaria, with an iron rod plunged into its chest. The left leg below the knee had also been removed and placed next to the skeleton. The iron rod weighed about 2 pounds and shattered the shoulder bone of the man when it was thrust into his body. It's clear that whoever did this had a strong belief that whoever was buried here might not stay dead, and took matters into his own hands to ensure that he would not rise again. At another burial site in Poland, skeletons have also been found buried with sickles over their necks or rocks under their jaws. The sickles were placed in this position to decapitate the corpse should it attempt to rise from the grave, and the rocks were designed to pin the jaw shut and thus prevent the suspected vampire from feeding. It's clear from these cases that medieval-era people had a genuine belief in vampires and the undead, and went to a lot of trouble to prevent the dead from rising. But were they just superstitions, or did they know something that we don't?
Say something that a lot of people also got buried alive at that point too, because they could, if somebody had really shallow vital signs, that sometimes that did happen. So it was not unheard of for dead bodies to come out of the grave and then people freak out.
Right.
So, I mean, this was something that was real.
Yeah. The thing that I found interesting about it was the fact that they put a brick in their mouth. I'm just like, wait a minute, but if the person comes back to life, couldn't they just take the thing out?
You're talking about a mythical creature. I mean, at that point, they were just doing stuff to probably.
I understand. I understood the sickle. That one made sense to me because that one was meant to decapitate. I cannot talk today. I'm attempting to, but I cannot. So yeah, that was actually really interesting. I liked that one a lot.
All right, let's do number 4.
Number 4. The Tomb of the Sunken Skulls. In 2009, a railway line was being built which would pass through a site which used to be an ancient shallow lake. Before construction could begin, an excavation of the site was carried out to check for any artifacts that might be buried there. What archaeologists found was bizarre and has remained a mystery to this day. In what has since become known as the Tomb of the Sunken Skulls, the skulls of up to 11 people, including men, women and children, were found buried there dated at over 8,000 years old. 2 of the skulls were mounted on wooden stakes, and several more showed signs of having once received the same treatment. The skulls were found alongside tools and animal bones, laid out in a stone tomb which had been built at the bottom of the lake. However, the story gets even weirder. One of the female skulls was found to have had pieces of another woman's skull stuffed inside it. This bizarre scene has baffled researchers, and theories about what took place at the site continue to be presented. Some believe that the skulls are the remains of enemies killed in combat, which were mounted on stakes by victorious warriors to be displayed as trophies of war. Others believe that the dead may have been placed here after decomposing and had their bones displayed as part of a burial ritual, which explains the wooden stakes. These theories fail to account for why the skull fragments of one woman were found stuffed inside somebody else's skull though, and many believe that something much darker occurred at this ancient lake. Number 3. The Pit of Severed Hands. During routine excavation of a palace in the ancient Egyptian city of Avaris, archaeologists made a chilling discovery. The skeletons of 16 human hands were dug up contained in 4 ceremonial pits. The hands are thought to be around 3,600 years old, and were described as large, and are therefore assumed to be male, and interestingly, they were all right hands, no left hands were found at the site. So what could explain this gruesome pit of severed hands? The leading theory is that they are trophies of war. After battle, the victorious soldiers would slice off the hands of the enemies they had personally killed. This served several purposes. Firstly, the hands could be exchanged for bounties of gold when the soldiers returned home, as well as proving the prowess of the warrior. Removing just the right hand also made counting victims easier, as one right hand would equal 1 kill. It was also believed that removing the hand of a foe would deprive them of their power in the afterlife, forever punishing them for daring to take up arms against you. The hands could have been taken from slain enemies, as well as captured living prisoners. Such barbaric treatment of prisoners in ancient Egypt is not without precedent. The Narmer Palette is an ancient artifact which depicts scenes of decapitated prisoners, as well as the image of a pharaoh poised to smash the head of a man kneeling before him. Just when this tradition of collecting hands as trophies began is a mystery. However, trophy taking during times of war is a common theme in human history, with everything from scalps and teeth to ears and skulls having been taken as proof of a kill. Such practices are not confined to ancient history either. During World War II, it's estimated that 60% of the bodies of Japanese soldiers killed in the Mariana Islands were sent back to Japan with the skulls missing.
Yeah, I mean...
Number 2. Human bone...
Also, I mean, if you take away their hands, I mean, they're not able to use weapons anymore, too.
Right, that's true.
So, I mean,
that's what I was thinking when they were talking about hands. I was just like, oh, was it like some kind of form of punishment?
Well, I know that for some people, especially with archers, they would cut off their middle finger because then they couldn't use the arrows anymore. They couldn't use a bow anymore. So, I mean, it could be that these people were like sword bearers or something like that. It's like, how do you keep them from fighting?
You cut off their dominant hand that they use their sword in. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Keepsakes. 30 miles outside of Mexico City lies a 2,000-year-old pre-Aztec archaeological site, where 5,000 bone fragments were unearthed, the analysis of which has revealed a bizarre and morbid custom. People who lived in the area around 2,000 years ago would use human bones to craft tools and everyday items, such as buttons, needles, and even hair combs. Further analysis of the bones has proven that they did not belong to foreigners killed or executed in times of war, but were local people, likely to be the dead family members of the people whom the grisly items belonged to. Thigh bones, shin bones, and human skulls seem to have been the more popular pieces used, and were thought to have been transformed into usable products shortly after the relative passed away. Stones would be used as makeshift knives to strip away the flesh and muscle, although whether the flesh would be discarded or used for some other purpose is yet unknown. only fresh corpses would have been usable, as bones become too fragile to sculpt shortly after death, and it seems as though only the bones of healthy adults were chosen, as older people may have had diseases which made their bones brittle, while the young may have had bones which were too fragile. Analysis of the bones shows no signs of ritual sacrifice, and they do not match samples taken from the skeletons of foreigners sacrificed in the city, which points to them being of local origin. This fits with what we know about how death was viewed in the pre-Aztec world. It wouldn't have been something to be feared, and it was common for family members to be buried under the houses where their surviving relatives lived. It's theorized that a local bone factory may have transformed bones of the recently deceased into keepsakes or tools which would serve as an eternal reminder of a lost family member. However, it may also be that bone was simply viewed as a good raw material and was therefore used for practical purposes rather than letting it go to waste. Bizarre as it may sound, making tools and utensils out of human bone was not uncommon in human history, and examples have been found all over the world. Cups made from human skulls, estimated to be around 15,000 years old, have been found in England, and bone fragments found alongside the cups had bite marks, which indicates cannibalism was involved. Scrapes and marks on the bones indicated that they were methodically scraped clean of flesh shortly after death, and what's surprising is not just the savagery involved, but also the skill and precision demonstrated in the craftsmanship. This wasn't a task that just anybody could do, and it hints at the possibility that whoever made the skull cups had a long history of working with human bone.
I will say this.
Number 1.
That
The scream
really, to me, does not sound all that horrifying. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people, I mean, even in Mexico, they have it where, like, they will literally, like, bring their dead relatives, like, well, I know that there was at least one point, I think, that they would bring their dead relatives back into the house with them.
That's in Peru.
Oh, that's in Peru?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they would actually bring, they believed that, also in Mexico too, there were certain days where they believed that the dead would be basically come back or transformed into the living. But with Peru, they would bring in these mummy bundles. They would actually try and feed them because they believed that these things actually were alive, and they, like, for a week. You would have your dead relatives sitting in your house, and you would talk to them like they were alive, and you would try and feed them. And I mean, especially in one of the things that I have is that they said that they think that it was viewed as like this really neat raw material, but the thing is that the site that they were showing, a lot of people had a lot of money on that site. There was actually, it's one of the sites where they really didn't have like a lower class. Like, everybody had like enough money to have like luxury items. So, I mean, I think it would be probably more, I want to keep a piece of my relative who died, way too, died before their time kind of thing.
And that's what makes sense to me as well, because it's just like, you would want to keepsake. Now, turning them into necessary tools or something like that, honestly, that makes sense. Because, I mean, bone is a very, at least in certain points of life, it is a very strong material.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you even play video games nowadays, you can make stuff out of bones. I mean, for all of you who've played Minecraft, there are certain mods out there where you can literally make, like, bone axes or bone picks. It's, honestly, it's so common nowadays to see that type of tooling even in video games nowadays, that this does not seem very strange to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, what he should have done is on that site they would find people, they would have necklaces made out of mandibles of people, and they think those were from like their war trophies. So they would like cut pieces of the face off, and they found a lot of people that were sacrificed also with like these mandible necklaces, and they're like, oh, okay.
Nice.
So, yeah, maybe he should have done that instead.
Yeah.
Let's see what number 1 is.
mummies.
Egypt.
In 1886, an Egyptologist was studying the mummies of 40 kings and queens, which had recently been found buried 300 miles south of Cairo.
The Memory Temple of Queen Hatshepsut.
Okay.
Which, yay her, because she was awesome.
The hall contains some of the most well-known pharaohs, including Ramesses the Great. However, there was one mummy that stood out from the others. It was found inside a distinctly plain coffin, unlike the highly decorated and elaborate coffins the other mummies were entombed within. When the coffin was opened, the mummy inside appeared to be frozen in a scream, as though he had been experiencing immense pain at the moment of death. The mystery of the screaming mummy deepened when further inspection revealed that the body had been wrapped in a sheep or goat skin, which was deemed to be an unclean item amongst ancient Egyptians. Why would Egyptians go to all of the trouble of mummifying his body, only to wrap him in a ritually unclean goat skin and entomb him in a plain coffin? His coffin contained no inscription, which in ancient Egyptian eyes would have been a surefire way of sending him to damnation for all time, as identity was seen as vital for a man to enter the afterlife. His hands also appear to have been bound together so tightly that marks from the rope were found on his bones. It was clear that although buried amongst royalty, this particular man had not been buried with the dignity of the royals whose mummies surrounded him. The screaming mummy soon became known as Man-E, and further tests led scientists to the conclusion that he had been poisoned, and his last moments of agony had been left fixed upon his face as he died. The leading theory is that Man-E was the son of Ramses III and had attempted to seize power from his father. The plot was unsuccessful, however, and as a member of the royal family, he would have likely been given the option of ending his own life by drinking poison. Although Man-E was originally thought to be screaming in agony as a result of the poison, it's now understood that the phenomenon of screaming mummies is actually caused by the corpse's head falling back during the mummification process. If the jaw is not strapped shut upon mummification, it will naturally fall open when the body begins to decompose, making it seem as though the face is contorted in a chilling scream. Other screaming mummies have been found since, notably in Peru, where this mummy appears to be not only screaming, but also covering his face in terror. In fact, creepy mummified bodies are not only a product of ancient history, but have also occurred in more modern times. In the early 19th century, an Italian anatomist named Girolamo Segato perfected his own method of mummification, using methods that have since been lost to time, but have been described as petrification, seemingly turning bodies to stone. After demonstrating his disturbing work, rumors spread that he had acquired Egyptian magic, and he destroyed his detailed notes prior to his death, taking his secrets to the grave. Despite several attempts to replicate his methods, nobody has yet been able to do so, and his process remains a mystery, but you can still see his creepy handiwork on display at the Anatomical Museum of the University of Florence. So those are my choices for 5.
I mean, if you don't, especially for this, the biggest thing is also when you find, like, especially burial bundles, you'll find the skull, like the jaw, like, way down here sometimes, but that's just because the mouth falls open.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you don't do, like, if you aren't, like, really thorough in your mummification, which would have probably been for, like, really upper class people, yeah, the jaw would fall down, or if you weren't careful.
Right.
You know, like you said, you had to bind it.
Right.
But yeah, they think that it was, like I said, Ramses the son from like a lesser wife who wanted to get the throne from his dad and from his brother. But I mean, just being in that royal mummy cache, you know, was pretty significant. I mean, they deemed his body worthy enough to try and save, but you know.
Right.
But
apparently not worthy enough to go to the afterlife.
Well, I mean, he tried to kill his father, who was considered a god. So, you know, it might have been who knows what everything went into there.
Yeah, who knows. All right, excellent. Okay.
Because it's no smoking that he added a line.
Where did you hide the money? Why? It's changes to prove below it. No unibrows. Anything else? Nope. Hide your potato? You what? Lifting is a crime punishable by law. We cute.
We are cute.
Being cute.
Hello there.
Hello there. Oh God. This is public health. No, this is magic. That's actually a really good picture too.
That must have taken so much time.
Yeah. Please do not touch. Caution attention. 1 out of every 3 snakes is an asshole. Applaud the jellyfish. Oh my.
I love that one.
Stairway to Heaven. Oh God. Sausage, the new.
That's Johnny Depp.
Oh. Side entree drink. Diabetes? Really? Okay.
That one's pretty good.
That one is really cool. Really?
That's great.
I like that.
It's like something I would. Somebody had to climb up there too. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh boy.
Oh God. Great.
Window plus window. Ah,
That's good.
that is good. I like that. Protected by the toilet ninja. This is a different color than this. Ah, this felt. It looks like this felt different wrong too. Where am I? Are you John Connor? I'm not sure I understand this one. That's good. I won't look, promise. Who sucks the most? Vote with your gum. I need a future. You should have thought about that before you went to start school, dummy. Oh God,
That's great. I like that one.
that was pretty good. I was going to write something profound, but I realized that I had nothing profound to say. That's when you just draw a dick instead. Oh my God, that's
Parenting
horrible.
at its finest.
Press button. Receive bacon.
I've seen that a couple of times.
That's funny. Roof. Oh God. That's impressive.
That is. Somebody spent time on that one.
Yeah. Level 2B.
All
Or
right.
not 2B.
That is a question.
Oh God. Wow.
Yeah.
I love some of these artworks that people do. Even if it is vandalism. Every 20 minutes a child is diagnosed with a mustache. Do not eat coffee with knife and fork. You'll make a mess. Oh my God. What is this? Speed limit 2x equals 360 divided by 4. Solve for x. I paid too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Trendy road work. Okay. Vote Batman. That's funny. 5 guys, 1 cup. Oh God, that's horrible.
How did they get up there?
I don't know. Have you ever seen 2 girls, 1 cup?
Oh.
No, I would recommend it. Friends don't let friends suck hot dogs off the bus floor. Kitten found near Crafton Parkway.
Mustache.
Main mustache.
Discovered.
Chuck Norris sat here.
Because it's broken.
Yeah. Where can I find a new restaurant that delivers to me and orders on my food? When you drink, you can understand birds.
Yeah.
Drink. Gosh, and ballroom dancing.
Gotta be careful of those ballroom dances.
In case emergency, break dance. Are those like clay toys?
It's Annie and then the wasp.
Oh my gosh.
Don't tell them I'm here.
What? That looks cool, but
It's the plug-in.
oh,
And it's a tree.
yeah, I see that. That's cool.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that one's cute.
I like that. That is cool. Despite the fact that it's broken glass. Keep your fries, you loser. Free chicken strips, free chicken strippers. Oh god. The Heimlich maneuver had to save a choking victim. Oh god.
First, you have to That's good.
Oh god, that is funny. Employees must wash their hands. If an employee is not available, please feel free to wash your own hands. I don't think my eye. Lost white cat. Lost black cat. I'm sure society doesn't. Oh god. I love black cats. My first cat was a black cat. Speeding was your excuse. Helping you bastards pay for swimmers.
That's great.
That's good. Air, room number.
You can tell we're nerds because we laughed at that one.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
No. Supporters for management posting do not tamper with change room rules. I'm a manager and I approve of this posting. Oh god. Oh, that was good. I liked that. Oh my god.
Oh no! What? No, stop. You're not supposed to play more.
Oh boy. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys laughed as much as we did. This is Tim Grimm, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, this is Tim Grimm. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!